I am Steve Wilsensky. I am one of the co-founders and the CEO of BNNano. So we are very excited to talk to you today, this afternoon, to give you a quick update on the progress that we've made in the last 12 to 18 months. This meeting does include information that does constitute forward-looking statements. And these statements are not guarantees of our future performance, and you shouldn't put any, undue expectations placed on them. These statements involve unknown risks, uncertainties, which can be different from the actual performance and financial results in future periods. We have to say this, so just be aware of what we're talking to you today. We are going to talk about a little bit about what we've done and a little bit about what we're doing moving forward. And we're going to have the opportunity today to hear from myself with a general update. You'll also hear from Jason Taylor, who is our other co-founder and chief technology officer. He's going to update you on the status of our intellectual property and our product development. You're also going to hear from Ted Kalmbach, who is our growth strategy, our senior chief strategy officer. And then we will open it up to questions and answer. And then we also do have a question or an ask of the community. We want to let you know how we think that you guys can really help us grow the company and move forward. So I do want to say that, 2021 did continue to be a challenge for us. And there were a lot of lingering effects of COVID on the people that we work with. They had an impact to us. This did slow some of the projects and some of the things that we were working on. It did impact our operations a bit. It slowed us down. It put us a little bit behind, where we thought we would be. But, that being said, 2021 still saw significant growth over 2020. And we've accomplished a tremendous amount in the last 12 to 18 months. And I want to highlight some of those accomplishments. And I want to tie that directly back to what we were talking about when we started our net capital raise. What we did when we started net capital is we did post and we did talk about some of the goals and expectations that we had for the fundraising from back in 2021. And some of the areas that we highlighted are that we wanted to do a facilities improvement at our facility, our manufacturing location in Burlington, North Carolina. And we wanted to do that so that we could expand our operations, so that we could increase our capacity, so that we could improve our quality and cut our costs. And we're pleased to say that about April of this year, we were able to complete that full phase of expansion. And we were able to achieve those goals. We now have a more efficient process that has enabled us to cut costs. We've been able to expand not just our boron nitride nanobar production line, but also the production lines of our additive manufacturing filaments and our aluminum master alloys that you'll hear a bit more about in a few minutes. We were also able to add to our operations team and add to our R&D team. And this is, again, just helping us be more efficient and also giving us the opportunity to do additional research and do additional development. And this is leading to, our product roadmaps as we move forward. We are beginning to offer additional products, not just our boron nitride nanobarbs, but materials that have that embedded in it already to make it much more approachable for our customers. The other thing that we wanted to do, again, is the product development. And we have been successful. And we have just recently launched a web store to where you can now buy our additive manufacturing filaments and our boron nitride nanobar powders and our master alloys directly online. And this is an attempt to, again, make this material approachable and easy to access for the world. So this is something that we're quite excited about. The other thing, as we've done this and as we're reaching more people, if you count all of the boron nitride nanotubes that had ever been produced up until the end of 2021, we have already shipped more this year than had ever been produced. So we have not only been able to increase our capacity to address this demand, but we've also been able to grow the business. So being able to ship kilograms of material is an achievement from a technological standpoint, but it's also an exciting achievement from a business. We're really starting to grow the business, and we're very excited about how we are moving forward. Another thing that we're excited to talk about, and we'll get into much more detail about this in the next few weeks, is in addition to adding people directly to the BNNano team, we have added an exceptional group of folks to our advisory board. And we're quite excited, we're quite pleased, and we're blessed to have people of this caliber agree to become part of the BNNano team and to really help us grow. And we will introduce them here moving forward. And we're pretty confident that you'll be impressed with who they are as well. And it should be quite obvious that the benefits that they can bring us. So again, we talked a little bit about the store that we have, and this is a screenshot of the products that we're offering. And right now today, we have our master alloys for sale online. We have our nanobar powders online, and we have filaments specifically targeting the additive manufacturing market. We developed these products with direct feedback from our customers. We're pretty excited that we have some pretty advanced partners and customers that we're working with that have really helped grow these products. One that I'd like to highlight in particular that I think everybody knows is NASA. We've recently have shipped some very large orders to different groups of NASA, and they continue to be a strategic part of our growth moving forward. We see a tremendous amount of opportunities in space, and we're very excited not only about working with the government agencies, but also with the private sector companies as well. In the plastics and the filaments and polymers in general, we have a really exciting customer that we're working with out of Texas called True Velocity. They're truly a revolutionary customer, and they are developing products that will create the next generation ammunition and resources for the military and for the Department of Defense. We continue to work with Eck Industries out of Wisconsin on our aluminum work, and Jason will talk more about that here in the future. But these products that we have and that we're offering to the marketplace have all been customer driven. So we're not just developing products with the hope that we can find a solution. These are things that people have specifically asked for. And in the additive manufacturing space, we have a partner out of Maryland called Kairos Incorporated, and they're leading edge in the not only the development of equipment for additive manufacturing, but also in developing the materials. And they've been critical in helping us really, I'd say, finalize and perfect the filaments that we're offering to the marketplace today. So we're quite excited about where we are and what we're doing. And we've also made a lot of improvements in products that have not yet been released. And we'll be talking more about those in the future. But what we're trying to do as we progress through 2022 is to increase the products that we have in our portfolio, to make them more addressable and usable for our customers so that we can bring nanotechnology to consumer level, and so that we can engage customers that traditionally have had to wait decades before they can get the benefits of nanomaterials. We also want to tell you that in the next few weeks and months, we are going to be much more active in the social media space. We are going to have a bigger presence online on our website. We will be giving some video updates, some news updates, and really just generally just letting the community know more about what we're doing as we move forward. We think it's really important to let everyone know what's going on as we begin to grow and we get through 2022. We're really excited about where we've been. We're even more excited about where we're going. We're also grateful for the folks in the Net Capital community, and we look forward to sharing with you, as much information as we can moving forward. And to give you a bit more information on where we stand from the intellectual property standpoint, I'm going to hand it off to our other co-founder, Jason Taylor.
Hello, everyone. Jason Taylor, CTO here. And today I'm excited to announce that our first patent was finally granted here early this year. And it is centered around our nanobarb technology. And that technology is what you see there. It is a nanotube surrounded by an irregular shape of hexagonal boron nitride crystals. Often people say it looks a lot like rock candy, and that's how we describe it to people. But it's really key in solving a few technical issues that nanotubes have been plagued with since their inception. And one of those issues is that nanotubes like to stick together, and that is a function of how much surface area can be in contact with each other. And when you have that irregular shape, it effectively limits the amount of surface area contact that's available between particles. And as a result, our customers are able to disperse our nanobarbs more uniformly throughout their materials and at much, much, much higher loading levels than standard boron nitride nanotubes or even carbon nanotubes and even other standard nanoparticles. The second thing that this irregular shape and structure does is it helps with interlocking the nanotube into whatever the material might be. is therefore enhancing the strengthening effect. Whereas if you had just straight wall nanotubes, they'd be simple to slip out of whatever that material may be, whether it be a polymer or metal or what have you. Those irregular shaped crystals on the outside act like rebar or even like concrete around the fence post. And they effectively lock the nanotube into the matrix, therefore making it even stronger. And the third impact of this technology is that outer shell of crystals protects the nanotube from scavenging reactions that can occur between whatever material it may be placed into and at certain temperatures and the nanotube itself. So the crystals on the outside protect that nanotube from any kind of reactions that may occur that could destruct or destroy the nanotube structure. It's this technology that has enabled us to do some tremendous things in aluminum. Our partner, EC, is a high-end casting company, has been able to achieve a 70% increase in strength with only adding 0.4 weight percent of our nanobarbs. That is a tremendous improvement as compared to adding other materials, adding alloying elements, and so on. So they are extremely excited about that result, and so are we. We continue to work with them as we optimize our master alloy in terms of composition and other features to assist in the ease of the processing and lot-to-lot consistency for our partner EC as we drive towards adoption in the aluminum industry. That technology is enabling us to launch a filament line for additive manufacturing, where we will be able to surpass the performance of chopped carbon fiber-filled materials and enable such things as high-end performance that can replace a lot of aluminum that is currently used. What you see on this chart is from left to right, high temperature materials, and then medium temperature materials, and then low temperature materials. On the y-axis, you see the strength, low, medium, and high. So in the high processing temperature materials with such things as PEEK and ULTIM, which are commonly used in the aerospace industry, adding our nanobarbs is going to help us significantly improve the strength of those materials and enable the use where perhaps aluminum had been used previously. In the medium processing temperature, what will be enabled is a polycarbonate, which we have on our website today, that can perform as well as some of the chopped carbon fiber-filled ULTIM or PEEK that is actually available today. So now people can take medium processing temperature materials and have them perform to the strengths of these higher processing temperature materials. And that's a big deal because the equipment to produce the high processing temperature materials is much, much, much more expensive than using medium processing temperature machines. And so we think we've provided a unique position for the many, 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 many additive manufacturers out there that have medium processing temperature equipment to now produce parts that are effectively production worthy and compete where they could not compete before. We will be expanding our filament line into some other materials as well. But we're really excited with the opportunity as additive manufacturing in general moves into a phase of being simple prototypes or toys and moves into more of a production capable and functional parts for the industry.
Thanks, Jason. And I think after that summary, we will move on to Ted, and he'll give you an idea of the strategy that we have moving forward and how we're working with some very exciting partners.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Under the category of growth, I'd like to speak about three separate areas. The first is international partnerships. The second is U.S. government research and development. And the third are private sector companies that are focused on advanced materials. So first, international partnerships. We've been working with a company called TER Chemicals out of Hamburg, Germany for about a year now. And they were founded back in 1908, know the business area well, know the continent well, and are exposing us to business across Germany, Europe, and also into Asia. In Korea, working with a company called Hunid that has great access across industries to include automotive and aerospace. Also connected to companies in Japan and UK that are doing the same sort of outreach and putting us in touch with companies that are doing the work that was described earlier. And lastly, working with a tech hub out of Berlin that works with a lot of startups across the continent and also connects with major industry. As far as U.S. government research and development, working with the Naval Postgraduate School, and we have a research agreement with them to test a variety of applications for our material. And we've actually increased that just this week with adding some more research opportunities. Also speaking with and working with Naval Air War Station at a weapons station at China Lake, and they're testing our materials for PFAS removal out of water. And we've also been in advanced talks with them to talk through other technologies that they can support through our materials, and more on that to come. And then Steve had mentioned NASA and more materials going to NASA. And we're also talking to the Jet Propulsion Lab to establish another research agreement with them to test more materials. And lastly, under that category, we're speaking with elements of Special Operations Command, Joint Special Operations Command, and out of the Pentagon, the group called Special Operations and Low Intensity Conflicts, SOLIC, to look through applications for our material for the warfighter in those realms. And then the third category are the private sector companies. Steve had mentioned True Velocity. What they're looking to do with the U.S. military and also U.S. commercial sector is extraordinary. They're also expanding internationally, working with NATO partners, other partners, military partners, and looking not just in the ammunition realm, but looking to other advanced material applications across other sectors, and more to come on that as well. And then Jason had mentioned our relationship with EC. And the other aspect are the commercial space companies that are out there. More and more connectivity with them and their realization that with our lightweighting and strengthening, in addition to our boron and radiation shielding, there are many applications in the space sector that we can assist with.
So one of the other things that we wanted to highlight is that we also have a tremendous presence with academic communities. And we have relationships with the universities across the country, and we're beginning to have some across the globe. So we're pretty excited about building those relationships, getting people on board, having students and professors do work with our materials, publish papers on the work that they're doing. And really, it's almost like a grassroots type of marketing activity. And that kind of feeds into, what I want to ask the community, the Net Capital community. So we've been blessed with a very active group of folks that have invested in us through Net Capital. And in many cases, they have reached out to us. They've been willing to make introductions. They've been willing to discuss potential opportunities. And we want to ask you to keep doing that. And more specifically, we want to ask you to make introductions for us. If you know anyone that is involved in additive manufacturing or in advanced aluminum alloys, advanced materials, water purification, fire protection, really any area where you think there might be a benefit to using our material, we would like to ask for your help. If you are comfortable with contacting us directly, please do. If you are comfortable with giving us a contact where you would ask us to make a communication directly to them, do that as well. Or at the very least, just share our website, share our information with people out there. We are huge believers in the power of the crowd. We are big believers in the whole grassroots efforts to help grow the business. And we have seen the benefits of this. We have evidence to show that, some of our customers have come directly from the Net Capital community. And we really want to ask you to get involved, and we want to ask you to do that. So anything you can do there, we would be grateful. It's a very interesting dynamic of having crowdfunding and having these folks with us today. And I think that it's an exciting opportunity. If you can help us grow, we can in turn help you grow. We can help your investments grow by doing this together. And we think that it's powerful. It's what we believe in. And we're very excited about that. And there's some good questions coming in. and I will start addressing those, as much as we can. But again, the community here, I think you guys are aware that we still post to the discussion boards and we still do updates on the Net Capital page, and we'll continue to do that. And you could always post questions there for us. But we're also going to be adding a lot to our website as we move forward. And that is it's bnnano.com. And we will, again, be a little bit more active this year in providing updates and doing things like that. But I'm going to get to the questions. And I think the first one is actually pretty good. It's insightful about the aluminum industry in general. They asked, why are we so excited about aluminum if that is a low priced metal and it's essentially a commodity? And I would say that's precisely why we're going after aluminum. If you can imagine, if we can create a super material out of a piece of aluminum, and we can use aluminum to compete with things like some steels, potentially some specialty alloys, if you can use aluminum to replace steel armor plating, if you can use aluminum more effectively in spacecraft or aircraft, there's a lot of opportunity. If you can imagine, if we can, as Jason mentioned, we've published that we've increased the strength of aluminum by 70%. If we could say we only improved it by 50%, what if we could help a private sector space company reduce the weight of their rockets by 50% because they use a lot of aluminum? There's tremendous value there. And that type of aluminum would no longer be seen as low value. So our goal, one of the stated, I would say, themes or objectives of BNNano is that we want to turn commodities into high value products. And aluminum is just one of the areas where we're focusing on doing that. Another question that is what is the competitive landscape these days? Are there other people making boron nitride nanotubes? There have been a few other companies coming into the market, and that's a good thing. As more companies come in to publicly state that they're selling boron nitride nanotubes, it does give some of the larger customers that are concerned about single sourced suppliers, it gives them more confidence to go ahead and develop some products with boron nitride nanotubes. We'll say that, we believe we are very well positioned to win the quality competition of Jason had mentioned that our patent has been approved, and that protects the shape and the way our nanotubes look. And so that means that other people may be able to make boron nitride nanotubes, but no one will be able to make the nanobarb. And there is a lot of evidence that the nanobarbs do provide a lot of value. Another question that came in, and I'm gonna throw this one to you, Ted. I think this is a good one for you to answer. With all of the disruptions in the global supply chain that we've seen over the last year, do we believe BNNano will be impacted by that?
Yeah, great question. From our perspective, from our company, we are safe as far as materials and supply chain. Our primary ingredients, boron comes from Boron, California. Also other sources in the US and globally, massive supply, not a rare earth by any means. And obviously the other aspect comes out of the air. So from supply chain perspective and also the creating of our material, there are no issues. Now companies out there that are customers, they're even in more need of having material as soon as they can. And they're seeing us as a partner that can deliver on time, even early, and get that worry away from them. So we've seen that as a positive for us.
All right, great. So another question coming in, and I'll send this one to Jason, I think. So what is the impact of the granted patent? What does that really mean for the future of BNNano?
It allows us to be open with our customers more about what our technology is and how it is very useful and helpful to them. Our technology, we believe, gives a significant advantage over straight wall boron nitride nanotubes and also carbon nanotubes via the ability, like I said before, of being able to easily add it to other materials, and then also the amount that can be added is significantly higher, which provides for lower processing costs. It also provides for a higher performance in the materials that they may be using, and then also they may not need to add as much to have equivalent performance as a straight wall boron nitride nanotube or carbon nanotube.
Thank you. All right, another question that's come in a couple times is, in the past on our website and in previous presentations, we've talked about using our materials for water purification? Has there been any progress along those lines? Ted, I'll throw that one to you.
Great. Yes, we've been talking to a number of groups, as mentioned before, working with China Lake to test that. And results will become public at some point in the near future. But so far across the board, results are positive. And there's various studies out from different universities and research institutions showing the effect that boron nitride nanotubes can have on taking PFAS chemicals out of water. I think most of you have probably seen the stories that are increasing every day about the issue of PFAS and PFOA in the water supply. It just so happens that most states are affected, definitely East Coast, definitely California, and many others. And there's a lot of legislation moving through Congress right now, separately, also in the EPA, that are designating these chemicals as being very harmful. And we're going to be seeing a lot more happening in the next 6 to 12 months from a regulatory standpoint that will really be a forcing function for companies, government, and the local groups to get these materials out of, get these chemicals out of the water. So we are poised to be at the forefront of not only the capture of this material, but also the destruction. And there's very few technologies out there right now that can actually capture and destroy. So we're very confident, and we're really looking forward to facing that challenge.
Awesome. So another really good question came in, and they asked if we had an example of how a investor or someone from the net capital community helped to grow the business. And yeah, we have an excellent example. One of the companies that we've highlighted a couple of times here today, True Velocity, out of Texas, they were introduced to us through someone that invested through net capital. And after they invested, they sent us a note and they said, hey, you know, I think this is something very exciting. There's some people that I know that I think you should talk to. And we had a brief communication back and forth. And then, you know, he provided us with an introduction to some people at True Velocity. And from there, the relationship grew. And from our perspective, they are the ideal type of customer because they understand the value of new technology, the value of material science. And they are, you know, more than willing to have conversations about what they need to solve today with our material and how they can plan for it in the future. And that's exactly what we're looking for, we're hoping for, and we're asking, you know, the community to do. We're very confident that our material works. We have, you know, many use cases already in existence of how we can help solve problems and how we can enable new products and new applications. But there are so many applications out there, and we are still small. So we don't have a large, you know, sales and marketing team yet at this time. And by extension, we want to use the community to do that. So they, you know, that one person, that one introduction who he took the time to invest, he took the time to make that connection. It could be a, you know, very important part of us moving forward. And we would like to multiply that moving forward, you know, again, using the power of the community, the power of the crowd. So I think it's something that is really untapped. You know, having a crowdfunding opportunity for a corporation is exciting because it allows, you know, more people to invest. But if you take the power of the crowd beyond just the initial investment and really leverage it to grow the business, I think together we can do incredible things. And that is exactly what we're hoping for and asking for, you know, for everyone to do. Another question that keeps coming up, and I can't really answer it, but I'll address it. As we move forward, do we have intentions to have new investment activities? Well, we're always looking for all the different ways to grow our business moving forward. While we can't say that we've made a decision to do anything yet, we will let the community know as soon as a decision is made. And I guess all we can say is, you know, keep in tune over the next few weeks. We do intend to make some pretty exciting announcements as we move forward, but that's not something that we can publicly address at this time in this forum. So I think we got time for maybe one or two more. Another question that has popped up time and time again is the fear the markets are crashing and we might be heading into a global recession. Is that something that we are concerned about at BNNano? Certainly it's a concern, but I think that if you look at the customers that we're working with and what we are trying to help them achieve, it puts us in a pretty good position moving forward. One of the major activities that we are involved in is making things lighter and stronger. And that is it is a long-term strategy of many companies out there. Anything that is used to transport people, products, or to move through the water, through the air, or on land needs to be lighter and stronger to make them more efficient. So those are applications where we think that even in a recession, there will continue to be, a lot of work moving forward. The efforts to get into space, there's a lot of companies that are very heavily invested in that, and there's a tremendous opportunity on the commercial side of things moving forward. So we see, a lot of potential there as well. So we're certainly concerned, but we do believe that, having side projects like water purification, that would benefit really everyone on the planet, that we have, lots of opportunities to mitigate that risk. So while we are concerned, we're still very, very excited about the remainder of this year and moving forward. And I think we'll take one more question. Why do we believe so much in space? And how will we be able to address that both with additive manufacturing and with our aluminum alloys? Maybe I'll send that one to Jason.
Yeah, so if you look at the space industry, it has been continuously growing primarily due to 2 or 3 large companies. And those large companies are not slowing down. In fact, they're accelerating. And you can see that by the launch cadences, which continue to increase. And also the sizes of the rockets that are being produced are increasing. And then the number of smaller and mid-tier players are starting to come in and actually be able to participate in the industry as well. The opportunity there is pretty clear. Some of the large players have on their websites exactly how much they charge to launch something into space per pound or per kilo. And so if you look at those numbers and you think about our opportunity to reduce the cost of aluminum or any other materials perhaps that go onto those platforms, you can quickly add up the value that would be for those companies, because it might enable them to carry more payload, which means more revenue. It might have them the opportunity to carry from low Earth orbit to the further orbits, or it might allow them to use less fuel for the same payload and distance. So there's huge value there, and that's why we are so attracted to that industry.
And there's massive application too to the drone space that we haven't even fully touched on on this call. But along those lines of lightweighting and strengthening and other technologies, both commercially and militarily.
So again, I think we'll wrap it up. We went a little bit longer than we expected to do, but thank you for the questions. I have to say, again, thank you to the Net Capital community. I think we've been blessed to be a part of that. We're very excited about continuing the relationships with the folks that have invested in us. We will ask you to continue to post questions on the discussion board. We will continue to post updates as well. But really, if you know anyone that you want to make an introduction to or introduce us to, we would be glad to take the time to talk to them. And I think it is the power of the community that's really going to help, grow our business in ways that maybe we don't even know of yet. Thank you very much. And we are very happy to have you as part of the BNNano family. So thank you.